Welcome into Titan Game Day morning on this Sunday. Hope everybody is having a great start to their morning. Hope you are ready to get into this discussion about the Washington Commanders hosting the Tennessee Titans today. We are live in D.C. Well, we're not really in D.C. I'm staying about, I'm less than a mile from the stadium. We're somewhere in Maryland. It's about 45 minutes outside of D.C., as I discovered on my Uber ride from downtown last night. But either way, we're here and we're ready to talk about this football game, a game that the Titans should be able to handle with relative ease. Of course, you know the drill. 3 keys to success is what I'm going to give you. I need one from you in the comments on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We'll get to those in time, as well as a best bet courtesy of Superbook Sports. First, I need you guys to share this show wherever it is that you are hanging out with us. If you're on Twitter, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you are on YouTube or on Twitch, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you would be kind enough to do so. We would appreciate that very much. And if you're on Facebook Live, you can share now to public like Jesse Larson or Nathan McGuire, who's going to see me at the stadium later today, who says tighten the F up. Yeah, so it sounds like a pretty good contingent of Titans fans made this trip, which is shocking. Well, I mean, not shocking, because if you're going to go spend a couple of days in D.C. and then, schlep out here to Maryland for the game, then okay, that's all well and good. But you know how these things go. Shannon Albrick says, make your bed. No, why? They have people that thank God they have people that come and make the bed. So I got to make the bed for. Get out of here, Shannon. You'll live. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Welcome into Titan Game Day morning, live from somewhere outside of Washington, D.C. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by our friends at Two Rivers Ford. RE/MAX, Two Rivers Ford is where you go for the best car buying experience possible. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. The Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, the dream address without the stress, or your set to sell your home for more, you can do at GaryAshton.com, and Superbook Sports, where you go to wager on all the action this football season. Superbook.com for terms and conditions. Okay, so you know the drill. 3 keys to success. I'm going to give you my 3. I need you guys to get one for me, to give me one for the Titans to be able to have success against the Washington Commanders today. It's not a very good team here in Washington. In fact, they're struggling a great deal throughout the course of the season. They won their first game of the year and have since lost 3 straight. You would hate, if you're a Titans fan, for this to be the Sunday that they decide to get right. But there's a lot of things for the Titans that would trend well in their favor. The first, though, is what we're going to talk about today for my first key for success. You're going to hear from Greg Cosell here in just a second. Ricky Talley says play 4 quarters, which they're the only team in the NFL who has not scored a point in the fourth quarter, the Tennessee Titans. That's my first key to success. We'll get to that here in just a second. Matt Stanley, as a man once wiser than me. Well, as a man once wiser than me once said, I think you mean as a wise man once said. I think that you got caught up in the air there, Matt. Sack is what he's trying to say. Yes, pressure is going to be critical to this game. Don't play conservative after getting a lead, says B Birds. These are all good nominees, but before I give you mine, courtesy of Greg Cosell, I'm going to tell you about the people who make the show possible. That's Two Rivers Ford. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet offers you all kinds of guarantees that you can get nowhere else when it comes to the car buying experience. When you custom order a 2023 model year Ford, they will guarantee or lock in a 2.9% APR for 60 months on that interest rate for all qualified buyers. They'll also give you $500 bonus cash at Two Rivers Ford on top of their already low prices. It's the best place to get a vehicle, new or pre-owned. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. So, we know the struggles in the fourth quarter, and we're going to get to the fourth quarter here in just a second. But the first key to success today, as far as I'm concerned, is getting to Carson Wentz, is disrupting the quarterback, is making him uncomfortable, moving him off his spot, making Carson Wentz make bad decisions. That was something Greg Cosell and I talked about a lot on Wednesday.
We've talked plenty about Wentz, given that he played within the division last year, Greg, but the Jekyll and Hyde Wentzian games that he has within one game themselves are always curious to me. And I wonder what you've made of him so far, given the situation around him. And, because they projected to have some really, really nice skill position players. Jahan Dotson's obviously not going to play. Say again, I'm sorry?
And so Dotson's out. So
Dotson is out. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a good player. So, the thing about Wentz is the narrative is out there. So no matter what he does, people just act like, oh, he's just going to make a Wentz play. But he really hasn't done any of those this year. I mean, holding the ball too long is not a Wentz play. That's just part of who he is, because throughout the early part of his career, he was able to make some special plays where he did hold the ball. But obviously you prefer that not to happen. Look, I know it's a long time ago now and things change, but clearly in 2017, he would have been a league MVP, and it looked like he was on his way to being a top 3 quarterback in the league. Obviously it has not worked out that way, but he has a narrative that people just automatically fall into without watching the games or seeing what he does.
Sure.
All they see is, oh, it's an interception. Oh, there's Wentz, but he doesn't necessarily throw a lot of interceptions. I know he threw 2 last week. One was a one-on-one where Diggs just was right there and made a great play. And the other, he made a bad read. He didn't, I don't know whether he didn't recognize the coverage, because I don't know what's in his head. I can't speak to that, but he threw it as if he didn't recognize where an underneath defender would be. And you know what? That happens in the league with a lot of quarterbacks. That's not a Wentzian play.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because I watched their first game of the season yesterday against the Jags for the purposes of both teams, because the Titans will play the Jags obviously later in the year. And I thought, he did struggle initially, or they struggled as a unit initially in the early going, but I thought he played fantastic to come back and win that game.
Yep.
So that is Greg Cosell's analysis of Carson Wentz. We do tend to stigmatize Wentz, even though, he can play some good football. It's just some of the decision-making at times is poor. The first key to success is getting to Carson Wentz and causing him to make those poor decisions. The second key to success is stopping the run. Rookie Brian Robinson, who is just a tremendous story at this point, had the armed robbery situation, had a couple of gunshot wounds in his leg. He has been cleared to play today, has been at practice for the first time since that issue, is going to play today against the Titans, and is expected to get about 20, it sounds like 18 to 20 snaps. You're going to have to stop the run. You're going to have to pressure Wentz. But there's one thing that's even more important to that. We'll get to that here in just a second. The third key to success momentarily. Lane Eiserhagen says, how many PI yards, pass interference yards, is Wentz going to get? They're really good at that. You have to be cognizant of it. Certainly, when you're playing a team like this. Daniel Craig says, in true Titans fashion, Brian Robinson will rush for 150 yards. Listen, I know the Colts are not a good football team right now, but they did well to hold down Jonathan Taylor. So if they do that today, it's a problem, because they're clearly capable of that. They played as a defensive line one of the best games that I've seen them play so far this season, last week against the Colts. Matt Drew says, Wentz is sorry. Our defense is going to ball out and swallow him all game long. It's an interesting way to phrase it, to swallow Carson Wentz all week long, or all game long. I don't necessarily know if that's the way that they would phrase it, but as you like. So let's talk about the third key to success. We'll read more yours in just a second, right after I remind you that Titan Game Day Morning is presented by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Gary Ashton has been in Prague, where the Preds went 2-0 this weekend. We're looking for the rare quadruple win weekend in Tennessee. Vols got a win. Titans looking for a win. Preds got a win. Nashville SC has the ability to win, and I think make the playoffs if they do win this weekend. So the rare opportunity. Either way, Gary Ashton returning from Prague as the official Predators realtor. He can help put you in your dream address without the stress. He can help you sell your home for more with that intel edge that you need to succeed. The Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage is the best in the business. They help Mike Vrabel find his home. They help John Hines find his home. They help me find my home. Not that I'm in the same category as those guys, but you get my point. They can do any level of real estate for any family's budget or needs. The Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage at GaryAshton.com. So, third key to success, make Carson Wentz. It's not just about getting to the quarterback. It's making him question what he sees in front of him on any given play. Disguise is something that the Titans defense does really well, especially against a quarterback like Wentz, who does have a tendency to hold the football.
You bring up quarterbacks who, as a function of what it is that they're doing on the field, some of them hold the ball. Joe Burrow, I think, is one of the quarterbacks who does this most regularly, but while also playing behind a probably insufficient offensive line.
Well, as Wentz is right now as well. Obviously Burrow got to a Super Bowl, so but he's clearly a better quarterback than Wentz. I'm not trying to make an apples to apples comparison, but Joe Burrow does at times hold the ball too long as well, and that's sometimes quarterbacks who are extremely confident and have that mentality, do that, and that doesn't make it right, but you try to channel that, but on a certain level, and I'm not a coach, you don't want to take away, one thing that makes Burrow is the fact that he will stand there, he will throw in the face of pressure, he will make contested throws, and he makes those throws well. So you live with the fact that he might get sacked a couple of more times on occasion because he does that, because he makes really positive plays at times. Obviously with Wentz, he's not making that level of positive play on a consistent enough basis, so the negatives become magnified.
That's Greg Cosell's analysis of what it is that the Titans can cause Carson Wentz to do. So pressure the quarterback, make him hold the ball with how you confuse and disguise in your defense, and certainly the third key to success, stopping the run against a team that is looking to get more into their rhythm. Because without Brian Robinson, they do have Antonio Gibson, but he's more of an all-purpose kind of player. He's not necessarily a featured lead back. So it's a situation where they're going to look to get kind of right for the first time this season with all of their pieces and parts available. Well, there's three starting offensive line missing. There's a safety that's not going to be playing for the Commanders, already been ruled out for the Commanders today. You guys know who's been ruled out for the Titans. The new additions to that, Bud Dupree, not going to be available. Oladeney, not going to be available. Amani Hooker, Treylon Burks, Zach Cunningham, and Joe Jones, all not available for the Titans today. So those three keys to success, and the Titans should be able to handle a win in relative stride. Let's do a best bet courtesy of Superbook Sports before we wrap up here. Remember that I will also be doing Titans radio coverage starting in about a half hour with Blaine Bishop and Mickey Ryan on 104.5 The Zone. You can live stream that on the 104.5 The Zone app as well, or online at 1045thezone.com. So don't forget, because we're going to have a lot of good insights and information for you before the game, as we have done this morning. So a best bet presented by Superbook Sports, where you can go to beat Vegas this football season. Superbook gives you the chance every week to go head-to-head with the best odds makers on the strip. No fancy computer algorithms, no guys across the pond setting lines for American sports, just the best team of odds makers in the business behind the counter at the Superbook in Las Vegas. Plus, Superbook features some of the best odds boosts and promo bets anywhere. So download the Superbook Sports or visit superbook.com and start your battle against Vegas today. Terms and conditions also at superbook.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. So, the best bet for this game today. By the way, we obviously don't talk about the Tennessee Vols on this show because it's Titan game day morning, but congrats to the Vols with a big win over LSU yesterday, getting ready to host producer Reed's undefeated in a close one last night. Alabama Crimson Tide able to escape that game against Texas A&M on a last-second pass breakup, but it should be a fun one. So congratulations to the Vols and all the Vols fans. The best bet this week, courtesy of Superbook Sports, the under in this game is 43. The under in this game is 43, and I would bet the under. It is going to be, I feel it is going to be a sloppy game, even though the weather projects to be nice. I don't think either of these teams are very crisp or clean offensively. Certainly the Titans in their second half struggles, but I do think that they are capable. The under 43 -110 right now in your Superbook Sports app on Tennessee, Washington. That is today's best bet. I hope to see many of you at the game. It sounds like a lot of you guys are going to be here. Certainly, I'll be out on the field about an hour and a half before with Teron and Jimmy Wyatt. So I hope to see you guys there in the stands. And enjoy the football today. We will be back tonight to do A to Z Sports Prime Time. Depending on how disgusting FedEx Field is, I may or may not do it from the hotel room again, because apparently Jimmy Wyatt told me that last time he was here in 2014, a literal mouse fell from the ceiling and scurried across his keyboard. So if it comes down to that, I'm probably just gonna come back and do prime time here from the hotel room if it's okay with everybody else. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you tonight on A to Z Sports Prime Time.
If we just compete, I promise you we're gonna find a way. Because you guys are gonna fight.
Hit again!
You don't mind taking a punch.
Hard, throw the sword, head it away.
And you're gonna come back swing.
Bobby, freeze!
Swing first, man! NFL Sunday, man! Let's ball out!
Pressure, hit, back, all three!
Success in this world sucks if you don't have somebody to share with.
Touchdown!
First goal, all 3 bases.
57 yards! Intercepted fire!
Hit him again! Hit him again!
Jack! Ball
That's been
down!
last. He's swinging.
Intercepted! A body!
You guys fight your asses off and you do it together.